From bodyguards that just look intimidating to ones who know how to protect their clients. Join us as we explore some of the strongest and most famous bodyguards of celebrities. Number 13. Kendrick Lamar. In the rap world, Kendrick Lamar was revered as one of the most impactful and soulful of the group, which was further proven when he was chosen to be the lead singer and music maker for the Black Panther film from Marvel Studios, a film that would go on to be nominated for awards, including for music, and would make $1 billion. So it's not a surprise that Lamar has a big bodyguard to protect him from various people, both good and bad. But what you might not realize is just how big that bodyguard is. A few pictures of the two together shows that his bodyguard literally towers over Lamar. But then again, that's not exactly saying much, as Lamar is about 5 feet 4 inches in height. So putting that into consideration, that means his bodyguard is well over 6 feet in height, if not 7, which means he could literally take on just about anyone that comes their way, which Lamar likely feels very safe knowing. 12. Kylie Jenner. It's time to keep up with the Kardashians. Well, sort of. Technically speaking, Kylie Jenner both is and isn't a Kardashian. Her mother is Kris Jenner, formerly Kris Kardashian, so she's a half-sister to Kim, Kourtney, and the rest of the main clan. But that didn't stop her from being on the show, getting into business for herself off the brand that she helped build up, and then become a self-made billionaire, all before she was 30. Given all of that, we shouldn't be surprised that she and the rest of the clan have bodyguards to protect them from onlookers, diehard fans, and people wanting to take advantage of her. Sure enough, Kylie has a bodyguard named Tim Chung. Also not surprising is that Chung looks like a model despite being a bodyguard. I guess Kylie doesn't want an unattractive protector near her. Ironically though, he is a model in his spare time, but make no mistake, he is qualified for the protector role as he used to be an LAPD police officer. Number 11. Cardi B. In terms of rags to riches stories in the rap world, Cardi B might just be one of the most famous and the most inspiring. She was a girl from New York who had very little to her name because of her immigrant parents barely making things meet. She herself was a stripper for a while just so she could make money, but she also was a frequent social media user and used that to get an audience, get fame, get on TV, and then eventually become one of the hottest and most popular rappers in the world, including being labeled the Queen of Rap by some. However, she needs to be better in the bodyguard she chooses. One time, a fan came and asked for an autograph, which she politely refused. When the fan didn't go away, her 3 bodyguards took the man down, and one of them apparently kicked the guy in the head. They fled the scene after realizing what they did and were nearly arrested, but they got off because of the circumstances of the event. All told though, this is a reminder of why the bodyguards are needed and how far they're willing to go for the client. 10. Drake. From a queen to a king, let's talk about Drake. Drake is a legend in the rap industry and the music industry as a whole. He's had a very long string of #1 songs and #1 albums over the last several years, and even broke a record held by the Beatles. Yes, those Beatles. That's the power of Drake, everyone. And while Drake is one of the kindest guys you'll meet if you were to approach him kindly, he knows that people come after him, and so he's got an army of bodyguards to protect him. One of them, though, Chubbs, has been in trouble before because of his protection of Drake. This happened with a fellow rapper, ironically enough in the form of Detail. Detail was coming to Drake's house one day by invitation, but when Chubbs met him at the door, he didn't know or wasn't told about Detail's invitation. A struggle ensued, and Chubbs apparently broke Detail's jaw, which was shown in Detail via social media. And Detail sued both Drake and Chubbs for the assault. Thankfully for Drake and Chubbs, the case was thrown out. Before we continue to protect and serve by showing more bodyguards, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our weekly videos. Number 9. Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is without a doubt one of the most popular and somewhat infamous celebrities in the world today. Her name honestly did come from the Keeping Up with the Kardashians film, and she's become such a big name that she's honestly gone paranoid in regards to how to keep herself safe. No, Really, she goes to extreme lengths to try and avoid the paparazzi at times, as well as those who want to get close to her, which obviously includes having bodyguards. One of the most famous ones that she had was Pascal, a very imposing man who was not only very tall, but very muscular. He honed his body to be mostly muscle, as well as trained himself in martial arts, including judo, in order to protect Kim from most threats, which he did for a good while. But then, there was a robbery incident in Paris, France, that resulted in Kim losing a precious item, and no one is sure how Pascal didn't get the guy. Sure enough, a month after the incident, Pascal left her service. But even without him, you can bet that Kim has many other bodyguards at her disposal, if for no other reason than to protect her children. 8. Adele and Lady Gaga. Why are we putting two of the biggest leading ladies in music on the same list together? Well, we could have said because they're both award-winning singers and have made millions off of their voices. But in this particular case, they've both had the same bodyguard in the past, a man by the name of Peter Van Der Veen, who is both deeper than he looks, but also scarier than he looks. For example, he's actually a former Mr. Europe, which if you know what that means, it means he's very muscular in a stylish way. But for the fans of the two ladies, he's also shown to have a rather intense side. In one incident, a fan was getting too close to Lady Gaga, and so Peter went and put a chokehold on the fan to get them away from her, which obviously took a lot of people by surprise. After all, that move can kill people in the right application. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt in the incident. Number 7. Nicki Minaj. When it comes to the most flamboyant side of rap music, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone more outlandish and colorful than Nicki Minaj. The other queen of rap had to work hard to get where she is, but she's also shown to have a very lax view of things and isn't afraid to do what she wants when she wants, which is likely why she has some serious protection in terms of bodyguards. However, this backfired on her during a Fashion Week event in New York in 2013. How so? Well, during the event, Minaj was trying to get to a certain area and had her bodyguards in front and behind her in order to let her get through with all the fans and paparazzi in her way, which they did, at the cost of actually trampling someone underneath their feet. But not just anyone, an editor for a fashion website. Not the best look that you want to convey. The lady was fine overall, but you honestly have to wonder how the bodyguards missed walking on top of someone. 6. Angelina Jolie. In terms of raw star power and presence, Angelina Jolie is still someone to behold. Despite having a career spanning decades, Jolie is still a star in every sense of the word, including having big movies coming out this year and next with her Maleficent sequel and being confirmed for Marvel Studios' The Eternals coming in 2020. As for her protection, she honestly had one of the best in the business in the form of Mark Villigam. I don't say that because he's the strongest or most intimidating bodyguard on the list, but rather, he spent nearly 3 decades in the British SAS. That's their special forces. And instead of just being an imposing presence to protect Jolie and then husband Brad Pitt, he used his wits and connections in the law enforcement community to keep them protected, including getting a stalker arrested once. So impressed were Jolie and Pitt that they promoted him to head of their security, and he did a very good job in that role. Number 5. Snoop Dogg. You might think that a guy as legendarily laid back as Snoop Dogg wouldn't be one to need a bodyguard. After all, the D-O-double-G is someone who preaches being cool and having a good time. But what you might forget is that this was a hardcore rapper at one point in his life and has gotten into trouble with rival rappers and their collective groups. So he's no fool in regards to his own protection. Which, in a way, backfired because at a funeral, his bodyguards attacked a mentally ill relative of the deceased. Ouch. To be fair, the bodyguard saw the person heading right to Snoop Dogg and didn't recognize them, as they were a somewhat distant relative, and thought they were trying to take Snoop or something of the like. But because of the nature of the takedown, the police were called. Thankfully for all, no one was arrested, but it most definitely caused a scene. 4. Justin Bieber. Given his legendary rise to fame and the swarms of girls wanting some Bieber fever, if you get my drift, it's definitely not surprising that Justin Bieber has a team of bodyguards at his beck and call. And I'm being serious about the fans. He was one of the biggest teen heartthrobs in his early years, and even as an adult, he has legions of female fans all trying to get close to him. But in a twist, it wasn't just the bodyguard who went too far, it was Bieber. One day, he noticed a paparazzi person trying to get a picture of him. Fearing for whatever reason, Bieber told his bodyguard to get the memory card and do whatever you have to in order to get it, which the bodyguard complied with quite violently. He chased the guy, grabbed the phone, put him in a chokehold, and even body slammed him into a car. That's a totally different way of getting Bieber fever. Number 3, Floyd Mayweather. Here's another person that you likely wouldn't associate with having a bodyguard. After all, Floyd Money Mayweather is the undefeated and undisputed boxing champ and has been for many years. He's beaten guys like Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, so he can throw hands. But for Floyd, his time is literally money, so he doesn't want to waste it on fools trying to make a name for themselves. So having an army of bodyguards is a must. In fact, he's actually branded them as the money team, which might just be a funny way of saying that they're to protect the money, as in Floyd. His team strikes a very imposing image, as they're all very big, very muscular, and very imposing. During a one-time stint in WWE, he actually used his bodyguard team in a match to help him win. Whatever it takes to get the victory, right, Floyd? 2. Beyonce. What might surprise many of you with this particular entry is that Beyonce's bodyguard is named Jay-Z, as in her husband. After all, Beyonce and Jay-Z are one of the true power couples of the world, and there's no doubt that Jay-Z would go all out for his girl. But as is life, they can't be everywhere together because of their somewhat divergent career paths. Beyonce still performs on stage while Jay-Z doesn't. So as you can see, she needs a bodyguard, and she definitely has one. Her bodyguard has a very imposing presence and is tall enough and long enough to ensure that Beyonce gets the protection she needs. And if she doesn't, I bet the guy has to answer to Jay-Z. I'm just saying. Number 1, Katy Perry. Ah, yes, Katy Perry. What is there to say about her? I mean, she's one of the most popular singers in the world today, and her very colorful personality and sense of style has charmed many a person. And she's never afraid to reinvent her look all the time to keep things fresh. She loves her fans well and truly, but that doesn't mean she just goes up to them without protection. She has a bodyguard, and one that can be very unassuming at points. But when you look at him, he's truly powerful and intimidating. Which is good because the fans really do love Katy Perry, and she's the object of the paparazzi's eye more times than not. So having someone like him who can have her back is more than welcome. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think about these strong and imposing bodyguards? Which one of them do you think went too far in regards to protecting their client? Which one would you feel comfortable defending you if the need was great? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.